Okay, so welcome again on our Expert Connect. You handle such large troops, and coming from very diverse background, it's quite a cocktail of diversity and inclusion when it comes to Indian Army per se. Uh, but when I look at even towards that almost retiring phase of yours, you had such a strong connect with the youngsters in Indian Army. Tell us, what is the formula of General Arun to hack the generation gap at work?
Thanks, Nishant. First thing I think is use of terminology. We stop using words which we learnt in school. I currently teach at three universities. Yesterday, I asked a bunch of 23-year-olds, what is it that they look for? And I think the answer to your question lies in the answers. Two of them gave me, one young man and one young lady. The young lady said that we don't want or don't like judgmental people. ये वहां का है, he probably cannot speak Hindi, he's from there, therefore he's this, she's from there, therefore he's this. Don't judge. The boy said, don't say no without thinking it, which actually means accept me as an individual, give me the credence of being able to think, and at least listen to my query, hear me out. The third thing, which somebody slightly older to them, who's at 26, said, so space is a very important criteria. Now, when I was growing up, space meant Flash Gordon comics and wo chand pe jate the, that was space. Today, space has multiple connotations. There is psychological space, there is cultural space, there is personal space, there is individual space. There are multiple spaces. Even within groups, there are spaces. And she says, sir, those spaces need to be recognized. So I think if you put these three together into the context of any team, whether it's a sales team in a large FMCG or it's the armed forces, I think the solutions are exactly the same. We just need to wrap it in the form and content which is required by your organization. So what I learned from a British era pamphlet is not going to work anymore. That's long dead and gone. The solution is different for different people. So I cannot even apply a set piece solution to the entire team. I have to customize, the application of that rule to individual people, soldiers, students, employees at the workspace, and so on. And I think the same thing works across corporates. The second point is we cannot change the fact that it is a young world. It is most certainly a young country. And forecast has it that by 2050, we will have 350 crore Indians under the age of 18. That is the language they will use. Those are the ways they will think. We have to get business done and make profits in the corporate world. We have to learn to accept their language, and I would say learn to use their language. That eases communication. I think these are very, very simple things. And at the age of 60, I think as a general in the army, if you can still potter around with a 20-year-old and, pretend to run a 2 mile with them, albeit very slowly, or jog a 2 mile, I think it makes a huge difference because you've shown the willingness to be part of what they do. Last but not the rank, I'll say it in Hindi and I'll say it in English. Rank ko jhadna nahi hai. Which means don't brandish your rank or your hierarchy or your seniority. You just happen to be in the queue ahead of me. So I think a combination of these things make the youth listen to you and allow you to communicate with the youth.
So I have a follow-through question on this one. One of the challenges that I have been facing is, each of there is this deal with me as a unique individual. How do you handle this at scale? Yeah.
You deal with them as individuals. That's how you handle it. So when you're a leader, the one thing that you do not own is your time. And I've constantly said in all my sessions, leadership is not about me. It's about them. So therefore, you go to bed later than the others. You eat after everybody has eaten. If somebody wants 5 minutes of your time, you can't be looking at a file and say, tell me I'm listening. You give them undivided attention. Modern day, it is called active listening. It's an essential ingredient of what people call emotional intelligence. When we were in school, there was only one word, intelligence. Now there are a lot of prefixes and adjectives, and I think they're all very important. So we have no option but to customize and individualize circumstances, tasks, deliverables, monitoring systems, and of course, pay packages to
Mm.
individuals. That is the way forward.
How is it the youngsters could have handled or contributed the whole information war, the narrative war that we had and that was playing a lot more intensively as you observed in this one. So how is it that could have been done better?
We are at a gadget all the time. So let me give you a little idea. In the universities where I teach, on an average, students after office class hours are spending between 8 to 10 hours after the classes on social media.
Mm.
Now, you use the word they're consuming content. Now, I am going to change it a little bit, and this is the answer to your first question: how do you handle or deal with the youth? They are creating the content. Some of them are consuming it, but most of them are creating the content, and they have that capability, the intelligence, the wisdom, and the knowledge of the technology which is lying to be exploited. Now, let's look at the numbers. Since your question was India specific, Operation Sindoor unfolded, and we all know how it did. We are about 1.43 odd billion people. You take the fraction out, you take out 0.43 billion people out, which is bigger than Pakistan's population, right? Of the 100 million people, take out another 25% who may not be so active on electronic devices. You still have about 700 million, 750 million people, most of them having more than one gadget. In the next war, will India harness the power of these numbers to put forward a narrative which is largely India centric, which speaks one language, which is part of a unified plan, which progresses according to the design which you have created? Now, I'm very fond of saying, when you move the first pawn, you must have the end game in mind. Now, if before war that first pawn has been moved on social media, the last pawn will also be moved on social media. And this is a visualization that I believe will shape future strategy, doctrines of information warfare, which includes propaganda, psychological warfare, so on and so forth, shaping the minds of the population, because war is a difficult business. International opinion is a difficult business to shape. Now, in the next war, and I'm willing to put my neck out and make a prediction, it is these non uniformed information warriors, millions of whom are all over our country and overseas, who will indeed help shape our narrative. I'm arguing that we will win this war even before we start fighting it. We only fight it through our devices. Enormous contribution the young people of this country can make.
Amazing. Thank you so much for this perspective that you shared. And as I see, and if I'm able to connect the answer to first question and to the last one, we just need to give them space, let them learn, and let them come with their own expression. We will win. We will win through the this new generation that is becoming more responsible and more mature in their own ways. So thank you so much, Janu. Really appreciate. And yes, we'll be back with yet another conversation very soon. So till then, have fun. Cheers. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind. Bye bye.